This episode is brought to you by TBD Media, Southern California's #1 podcast production agency. If you're looking to start your podcast or ready to grow your show, then TBD Media is a company for you. They handle everything from ideation to production, editing, and even distribution on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're located in Orange County, you get special discounted rates. So hit the link below or contact them in our bio, and I hope you enjoy the show.
We have it where like we get you out of the pain, but there's so many pros to getting adjusted when you feel good. Like,
What are you noticing now that's maybe changed like since when you first started?
a lot of people, they're good people, and so like if you could help a good person be able to play golf or hang out with their wife or do whatever, it's freaking awesome.
Okay. Is that clear communication? And I could tell you operate from a place of integrity, generally here to help. What does that feel like for you from a chiropractor standpoint?
I freaking love it. It's the best feeling in the
All
world.
right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the TBD podcast, where we believe that the future is to be determined. Every episode, we bring you exceptional guests that are impactful, influential, and inspirational. And the gentleman that I have with us today, I'm super excited because we connected a while ago. He's somebody that I've seen out in the community. We're bringing together people that are impactful, especially in Orange County. And this guy's making a name for himself all across the board. He is honestly my favorite from what I've seen. Chiropractor, adjuster. I love his take and how he's promoting himself on social media. We're probably going to do some adjustments and stuff today, you know, little cracking and stuff like that. But ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, Dr. Ben Horning.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Dude, it's been a pleasure.
Dude, I am pumped to
Yeah.
be here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have you. This
Hell
is
yeah.
amazing. I know we kind of connected a while ago.
Yeah.
You know, looking to get something. We know a lot of the same people.
Mhm.
The reason why I love podcasting, kind of what we're doing now, is because, especially in Orange County, you know, it's a great way to connect and bring everybody together. When you're doing something similar with your practice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's interesting. In the chiropractic field, it's very much like a slice of humanity, right? Like people from all walks of life come to see me. So I got people that are freaking like a janitor. I got a freaking actress. I got a director. I even have a freaking coal miner, dude. Like it's freaking
Really?
crazy. And so the cool thing about at least my profession is you get to get a good slice of humanity, and you also get to see what people seem to have in common. And then a lot of times the differences are just they're slight, but like if you don't get a good grasp on people, you wouldn't see the commonality between people. And so it's fantastic because you get a good grip on people, but you also find out that people are really connected to other people. And like I've treated like moms and dads, and they had no idea that their like stepdaughter was coming in. Or like last week we had like a 17-year-old girl, and she comes out and the reception is like her freaking teacher.
Oh,
And it's
no way.
like, yeah, so sometimes like you get that in the community too.
Yeah, very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you been practicing?
This is my 12th year, so officially 11 years in practice.
Okay, very cool. And in Orange County, all 11, 12 years? Or
Yeah, Laguna Hills.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And the name of your practice, is it just Dr. Ben?
It's a Horning Chiropractic and Acupuncture.
Okay.
So my wife is an acupuncturist, and
Very cool.
I'm a chiropractor, and we teamed up, and here we are.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. It's almost like one of my favorite like video segments. You know, you hear the cracking and the pulling and stuff,
Yeah.
and you do something similar, right? That's like one of the I guess like the how you're delivering kind of like the visual stuff like on social media, right?
Yeah, the like ASMR, the crack sounds, the adjustments, the reactions.
So good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You know, I went back and forth on it too. Like, for years, like I've done social media for like the past decade, and like very limited success until probably about 4 years ago.
Okay.
But what I found was like the more I would do like strictly education, unless it was done specifically the right way,
Yeah.
it would just get passed on, you know?
Okay.
So then I would go back and forth on like, hey, like, is it degrading for my profession if I just do the crack sounds? Or is it like something I should do? Or like, how do I approach that, right?
Okay.
And so we started to do it, and I was kind of like up in the air on the whole situation. But I kind of came around to it because it kind of opens up the door with my profession, right? Because like people don't know adjustments. They hear things, they'll see things, but like before the social media kind of blew up,
Yeah.
it was kind of a mystery. And then like if you see the person get adjusted and they feel better, or they say that they're improving, or you see the actual improvement, the curiosity starts to kick in a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're and the wonder of, oh, a lot of people get adjusted. And so I kind of went and changed my perspective on it just because it seemed to actually do more good than just be like very clickbaity.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we started rolling with that. And it's mainly, we'll do adjustments, we'll do fun stuff, and then we'll do some educational stuff as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're crushing it. I love
Thank
what
you.
I'm seeing. Yeah.
Thank you.
What, so it's a two-part question. One, what are the kind of like common conceptions that you find with people that are a little bit more hesitant to go in and get adjusted? Like you were saying, it may have been a little bit more mysterious at first, people not knowing exactly what they're signing up for. But before that, I want to kind of understand why this specific practice, what got you into, studying this back in college? Like, what was it that really made you go in this direction with being a chiropractor?
Yeah. So, so chiropractic for the longest time didn't always have the best reputation, but it always worked, and people always got better. And so I'm a second generation chiropractor. So my father's a chiropractor. Yeah. So growing up, I would just see these people that would like avoid surgeries. Their headaches went away. Like all sorts of health issues started going away naturally without drugs and surgery by just getting adjusted and making some lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And it got crazy. Like I would just see this all the time. I hear all these stories, and then you get to a point in your life where you're like, well, what kind of impact do I personally want to make on society? And for me, there's a tool and an avenue that got good results that made people's lives better that I could do.
Yeah.
And so I decided to pursue it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you study? Where'd you go to school and all that at?
I got my doctorate at Southern California University of Health Sciences, or LACC, Los Angeles College of Chiropractic. My undergrad was at University of Maryland. I'm from the East Coast.
Oh, very cool.
I'm from New Jersey. And so, yep. And that's kind of what happened.
Nice. They brought you out here, opened up your practice, and rocking and rolling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So part two of that question was like I said, I don't want to say there's like a fear around it, but like you said, I think there was like a little bit, some of the mystery factor, the common misconceptions, people unsure exactly what exactly goes into, the whole, you go in, you lay down, like what is it, kind of explain that process, and what are some like the pushback that you get?
I'll explain the whole deal.
Yeah, please do. I'm curious for myself.
No, totally, yeah. One, the biggest one that seems to, well, I don't even know if it's a deal anymore, but like for a while they're like, are you a real doctor? And the truth is we are, 100%.
Okay.
It's 4 years undergrad, 4 years, 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 of a doctorate. So it's about 7 1/4 or 7 3/4 of doctorate.
Pure education. Yeah.
Pure education. So we have 5 national board exams, 4 board exams, and a physiotherapy exam, and you have to pass those. And those are not easy. Trust me, they're very freaking difficult.
Yeah.
So it is a full-on doctorate. We don't do medication, so maybe that's what they're talking about, like if you need pain meds. But we do herbs and supplements, and we try to. Our approach as chiropractors is to help people naturally, and the body's always trying to heal itself. So we're just trying to help the body heal itself. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, chiropractic itself, it's a massive subject. So if you see one chiropractor and then you go to another town, you see another chiropractor, and you go to another town, you see another chiropractor, they all could treat differently, right? There's different instruments, different adjusting techniques, different diagnostic tools. So it's very much an art and a science. And so it's a combination of the art of applying a science. And so person to person is a little bit different. You'll get places where you kind of just go, they find the misalignments, they adjust. You go other places where like they'll adjust, maybe they'll stretch you, maybe they'll give you like nutritional advice. That's a little bit more my practice.
Got it.
The chiropractors that barely even adjust, they just do PT or something like that. They'll do exercises, maybe they'll do strength training, and occasionally they'll adjust you. So you don't really know until you either do your research online or you go in and experience it. The biggest one I hear is the crack deal, right? People think like, that cracked, like, is he killing you? Like, what's the deal? Like, is he snapping a bone? I promise you, like, if I'm killing you, I'm going to jail. Like, like I haven't been in practice that like this long to just be like, well, I don't know, crunch, see ya, like.
That's so funny, yeah.
It's a gas bubble, so it's in your discs, and so the crack sound is a side effect, and it's not necessarily the adjustment. So you can crack your neck, and you can get that sound.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're doing an adjustment.
Okay.
When you do the adjustment, a lot of times that sound comes out from the adjustment, but you could do an adjustment without the crack sound.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, and it comes back every 30 minutes ish.
Okay.
So it's not the actual adjustment, although it's very closely like related to it, right? So like you'll see me adjust somebody and hear the crack sound. A lot of times that will happen, but they don't go hand in hand.
I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What is one of the common, I guess, trends that you're seeing a lot of people that need adjustments? I'm sure, everyone has like, back pain or neck pain. There may be some more obvious ones, but I forget the name of the study, but I read, after the pandemic, a lot of us were, stale and sedentary and sitting a lot. So a lot more people, especially at a younger age, were developing, back pain and people looking down at their phones and the whole like posture and neck, right? Are you seeing kind of that trend saying the same? Like, did it change throughout like your years of practice, or like, what are you noticing now that's maybe changed like since when you first started?
That's a great question. I would say, I mean, it's called text neck, and so it's like a posture issue where you're down like this and you're hunched over.
Yeah.
The problem with that when you're younger is when you go through puberty, if you're bent like that, then you're going to be more looking like a older person, right?
Okay.
So corrective care and making sure your posture is definitely on the rise, because you don't want to be like a teenager going to prom looking like hunched over.
Yeah.
Correct. That's very common. Yeah, I mean, a lot of regular ailments we see, right? Like a lot of times with bad posture, you'll also see like TMJ issues, so jaw issues, because if you're like this, it clenches, and then we have to work on that as well.
I see.
Migraines, we see a lot of those as well, because if something's being pinched, it can affect the cranium. So you can do adjustments to help with that as well.
Okay, yeah. Absolutely. Is there anything that like, because it's weird, but like you see, I have a lot of tattoos, and I notice like when I get tattooed like on a certain part of my body, I'll feel almost like a twinge or something like in a completely opposite, like like the other side of my body, like in my foot, like a tingle or something, but like it's connected somehow, like in my left arm, just something crazy, right? Is there like, when you're in the chiropractic, the practice, like, how is that everything all kind of connected? And like, because you just said, it made me think about it, people having migraines or, severe headaches, maybe have like a twinge at their neck, but like, could it be something somewhere else? Or like, how deep are you going to like really pinpoint and figure out what exactly each person needs?
That's a great question. You know what? It really depends on your knowledge on it. Okay. So like, there are things where like an internal organ could cause like a shoulder issue or a back issue, right? So there's something like that, right? The nerves that come from your brain down the spinal canal to every muscle, cell, tissue, organ, gland in the body. It provides the body its electricity, right?
Yeah.
So like if a nerve is being compressed, squished, or something like that, it's like stepping on a hose, right? So if a hose is being stepped on, the water pressure changes. So what we try to look for is to take the foot off the hose, and then that gets proper flow back to those areas. Okay.
Very cool.
Now, when you're talking about like the forearm or something like that, and you feel it in the leg, okay. So from like a anatomical thing, it's hard to see if that's like if the nerves really are connected that way. But there are esoteric techniques. One's called mirror image technique, and that's a technique where if it's like from the upper arm, you'll see it in the lower leg. I don't really know the research behind that, but I do know occasionally sometimes if you work on the opposite part of the body, sometimes it shows up where your issue is.
Oh, very cool.
I don't know the mechanism behind that, but that is a protocol, and some chiropractors know it, some don't. Yeah.
Very cool. What are some of the tools and modalities that you use? Because I've seen like a lot of pulleys and different tools and stuff. Like, do you have a favorite, or what are some more the more popular ones that you like to implement in your practice?
Yeah, that's great. Everyone's different depending on their issues, right? So like you can use a TENS unit or E-stim to wake up the muscles, heat or ice, like the basic ones, right? We have an instrument called an activator. It's like a clicker device designed to do adjustments. That's great for people that are afraid of like the manual like cracks, or it's good for elderly or for kids. I have these things called SOT wedges. They're blocks or wedges where somebody lays on them, gravity does the adjustment for them. That's pretty awesome, because like if somebody's in a lot of pain and you can't really crack them, if they lay on these wedges and you put them in a specific way, the body starts to shift, and then when it shifts, it goes back in place. It's pretty awesome, but what I will say is certain people feel like no pain, no gain. You have to like fucking crush it, right? The reality is that's not always the case, but that seems to work as well. We have something called a drop table. It's a chiropractic table that has drops on it. So if somebody's laying face down, you can put pressure on the spine, and then the table will drop, and it'll get the adjustment.
Oh wow!
So that's good for a few reasons. One, like if the chiropractor's in pain, right, and his back hurts, he could use that drop table. Two, if somebody's like can't twist or turn, but they actually need a good pop, you can use the drop table. Okay. If you're having a hard time adjusting somebody, you use the drop table.
I see.
About 2 years ago, I had one arm. I broke my wrist, so I'm adjusting people with one arm.
Oh, really?
And for a little bit, the only way I could get that low back was adjust with one arm.
I see.
Now, I actually learned. I taught myself how to actually do the manual adjustment with one arm.
Okay.
They don't teach that in school.
Straight kung fu type, like.
It's pretty wild. We have a couple of videos on it where I'll set you up, and then we'll do the adjustment with my arm behind my back, and I would slam it. You know?
Wow. That's
extreme. That worked for me. It might not work for everybody.
Yeah.
But if somebody that hurts themselves, like if you hurt your arm, you have the drop table, you could do one arm and get the adjustment.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Man, from like when I watch like the videos, especially ones that you do, like it's so satisfying, like hearing it, right? Do you feel like the pressure is something released? Like when you're cracking somebody, like how like are you feeling all that? Like just obviously seeing the person just sigh maybe in relief, or like what does that feel like for you from a chiropractor standpoint?
I freaking love it. It's the best feeling in the world. With your bare hands, you can help somebody. You know, like you have somebody that like tried exercise, try this, try that, and they're in so much pain, and with your hands, you put the bones back in place and they could walk again. It's amazing. The best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and then like a lot of people, they're good people. And so like if you could help a good person be able to play golf or hang out with their wife or do whatever, it's freaking awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, you could definitely feel the adjustments, you could feel the misalignments. I will say, and I tell my interns this too, I don't know if there's any scientific reasoning behind it, but like every time I quiet my mind and I like tell myself I'm getting this adjustment and it's here to help somebody, it always goes. If I just do the mechanics and like I have a cloudy mind, my mind's on something else, it doesn't pop. You know, it doesn't go in.
Wow.
And so there's that little bit of quietness where somebody's a little bit vulnerable, letting you take the reins. And when you put the adjustment in and they feel better, it's a spiritual, magical, amazing thing.
I love that. I'm so glad you touched on that because I wanted to take this conversation that way. I know you mentioned it's a combination of art and science, physical, mental, spiritual. I have a few questions that I want to ask about that. As somebody that's empathetic myself, I feel people's energies. I take certain energies on. Do you operate in that way? And are you able to feel, because you mentioned there's good people that maybe have like physical problems, right? How do you navigate working with other people's energies? And most of them, like, ideally they'd be good people, but what if maybe they're not? They're just coming in like, kind of grumpy in a bad mood. They just want to get adjusted, right? Like, how are you navigating the emotional with the physical and all that?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of people, when they're hurt, they're scared, right?
Okay.
So you're going to have people that are scared. What do scared people do, right? Scared people, they're not sure. They're not really confident. It's hard to lock them down. Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Are you going to kill me? Blah, 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 blah. But a lot of that, some of those things are valid. Some of those are real originations. Sometimes those are just like what comes with that emotion of being scared, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to be patient with the person.
Okay.
If somebody's angry or upset, a lot of times it's not. I don't really think it's me. I mean, maybe it is if I really upset somebody, but a lot of times when somebody's not doing good, there's something going on with them.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind. But as long as you keep it a calm environment and the communication's pure and there's no hidden agenda, like if you just tell them this is what it is, I've seen this before, this is what I think you need, what can they say?
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, I don't know, man, sign this 100-visit contract and like let's get you to do this, this, and this. I don't know if it's going to work or not. That's a little bit different of a deal, and that's going to cause more problems. But as long as I keep it clean, if it's something I think I could help them with, I'll let them know.
Okay.
If it's something I don't think I could help them with, I'll let them know. But that takes a lot of the negative energy away, right? Because then there's no fear of being betrayed, right? Because
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of times people, when they open themselves up to be vulnerable, that help, is it real help or is there an agenda?
Yeah.
And I don't want to provide those type of thoughts. So the best thing I could do is try to keep a clean environment where we explain things that the person understands and be on the same page.
Yeah. It's that clear communication. And I can tell you operate from a place of integrity,
Mm-hmm.
genuinely here to help. Obviously you have a business run at the end of the day, but it's like, if you maybe there isn't a good fit, like I have no question, like you'd be able to give somebody the proper answer to what they actually need, right?
Yeah,
Um,
and our
go ahead.
business model is pretty good too because we have it where like we get you out of pain, but there's so many pros to getting adjusted when you feel good. Like I treat professional athletes, I've treated Olympic athletes, I've treated
Wow.
all sorts of healthy individuals,
Yeah.
bodybuilders, all sorts of stuff. So you can enhance a person. So you can have them at baseline, and then you can improve their neurology to get them to be even better. So um, from a business standpoint, it's good to get the person better, and then just help them live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
Where you could be a part of that. They don't have to come see you, but if they do, it makes it cleaner. Where as opposed to if I only made money on if somebody was in pain, then if rent was due on Friday and nobody's come in, well, and now somebody shows up in pain, it gets a little muddy. So the way I personally operate my office would
Yeah.
be to help you get out of pain and then help you thrive when you're out of pain on your own determinism. This way, cool, you're coming in because you want to improve yourself, and I'm here to help you improve yourself.
Yeah. I love that.
It's a better model.
Exactly. Yeah. Did you learn kind of the business side of things before, like, you finished chiropractic school, or was that something you learned on the back end? Because I know a lot of chiropractors that, or even health professionals, may want to open up their own practice, or they've been working for somebody a long time and they want to take that jump on the business side of things. How did you learn to negotiate leases and hire people and understand the ins and outs of business and marketing and all that with your practice?
Yeah, there's a lot of facets to that.
Yeah.
When I was 14, my brother was 16. We started a landscape company.
Oh, very cool.
By the time I was 22, we had 40 employees,
Wow.
and we were like blowing up. Okay, but landscaping at a young age really made me deal with rejection. Asking people, "Hey, can I cut your lawn?" No. Over and over and over again, right? What it takes to work hard, like how to finish a cycle of action.
Yeah.
So working at a young age, in my personal opinion, is very good for the person. Afterwards, when I finished chiropractic school, I did business consulting, and that helped me.
Okay.
And then I would also just do online things too. I'd watch inspirational people, marketing things, and you just kind of go for it. And so for me, that's what worked. But a lot of people, and I know my profession runs into it where the business side's hard. And I think there's a idea that if you do a good job, people are going to refer you. That's not necessarily the case. And unfortunately, you might have to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
But like if you went to the dentist, right? And the dentist cleaned your teeth and did an awesome job. You're not going to go somewhere and be like, bro, I got the best guy to clean your teeth.
Yeah.
Dude, he cleaned my teeth, the same thing. People will come to a chiropractor to feel better.
Yeah.
So like if you do the job, you did the service that they were expecting.
Of course.
Right. And you could add value and maybe they will refer you. And extroverts typically do that. They'll refer more than introverts, but
Yeah.
sometimes that's not the case. So doing a good service doesn't necessarily mean doing great in business.
I see.
Which you would think that's the case, but that's not the case, right? Like if you went to a car dealership to get a car you wanted and the guy sold you the car you wanted.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
That's
like
what they're supposed to do, yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So for us, we just try to we market like crazy, and yeah, people refer. We get a lot of internal referrals, but I don't depend on that because if you're not always creating, then you're going to get stagnant.
Yeah, of course. How can a business owner kind of be more proactive for somebody that owns their own practice and they're not asking for referrals, maybe, or like they're in that position, like you said, they think they're doing a good job, they're expecting referrals, or they're kind of just waiting for people to walk in the door? Like, what do you recommend from a business standpoint that people can implement to thrive and succeed in business?
Yeah, good question. I mean, just get out there, dude. I did BNI. I did like the networking thing. That completely improved my practice, right?
Oh, very
I did
cool.
that because when I did BNI, right, dude, we had a freaking high end lawyer, we had a high end accountant, dude. We had at one point we had the Commodore of the Newport Yacht Club, dude. Like,
Okay.
it was like high up people.
That's awesome.
And then so like it's a good team, especially when you're brand new. You know, like I did pretty well in school. I got scholarships. I was class president. Awesome, great. I started my practice, and people are like, "Oh, chiropractor. I don't know how long you been in practice." I'm like, 2 weeks. They're like, "No, like it doesn't really matter, right?" But if you start networking and doing things like that, then you get other people on your team to help promote you, right? So when you're new, networking groups I think would be a good thing.
Okay.
But just get out there, man. Like at times I was just talking to people at the freaking gas station when I was brand new.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get anybody, but whatever. at least I got over being rejected, right?
Sure,
because if you get rejected and then you hold on to it, then you can't try again. But if you don't take it personal, then you'll have more opportunities that people say yes than if you don't say anything at all and no one ever puts any interest on you.
Yeah, 100%.
Make sense?
I like that. That's perfect advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. What are I know it's hard to put it in like a blanket statement, you know, just your general best practices or recommendations or things that you can, you know, tell people. But from what you've seen, you know, basic population or people that you work with and the practice and everything that you see coming in your doors, what are you recommending for people to do on their own to maybe is it always a posture sort of issue, or what are you recommending, you know, people just kind of start implementing and practicing at home or at work? Whatever the case is.
Yeah. I mean, it's not always posture. A lot of times it is nowadays. But one, move. Life is moving, right?
Okay.
You know who doesn't move? Dead people.
Yeah.
Right?
Straight up, yeah.
If you're hurt, find a way to do something, right? Because if you're hurt and you just stay in bed and you're just not doing anything, in my personal experience, that doesn't relate to speeding up as fast. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and get hurt or do anything like that if you're in pain, but find things to do, move, live, you know, work out, eat well. It's basic things. You just have to overcome the urges that your body has to not do that. Yeah, you know, like one of the things is people are like, "Oh, listen to your body." Bro, that's the worst advice ever. Say you just had like donuts and you had donuts the day before and you had donuts the day before. Your body wants fucking donuts.
Absolutely.
Dude, if I listen to my body, he wants
you just
freaking.
Said the word donut. I want donuts now.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's better to listen to your body after you do something than before you do something.
Okay.
Right? Like if you did a good workout, cool. Then your body will tell you, "Oh, I feel better." Right? But if you listen to your body before a workout, it's gonna be like, "No, dude, I want to lay around. I don't want to do anything." You know, so listen to your body after you do stuff as opposed to before it. I think that's a good piece of advice. Work out, eat well, be around like-minded people. Not like, I mean, if you're like, okay, so you're doing this podcast thing, right? Cool. If like 3 of your buddies from when growing up don't want you to do this or like don't believe in you, I probably wouldn't hang out with them. Yeah. You know, if like your life purpose is to do something, you wouldn't have people that want to surround you. Like surround you and help you like grow and thrive. Where and I think a lot of people, at least what I see, a lot of people will hold on to relationships because of history as opposed to where people are in present time.
Okay. That's great advice.
You know?
I like that, yeah.
Dude, we've been friends for fucking ever. We did this in high school, blah, blah, blah. Cool. He clearly doesn't have your best interest in hand, so I would probably avoid that. You know?
Yeah, no, that's real life practical advice. You know, we all go through seasons and different levels, especially, you know, someone that wants to excel and be successful like you have with your business and you want to reach the next level. Sometimes, you know, not everybody is in that same mindset.
Right. Like, and I'm just to bring that back to health, right? Like that happened to me. Like I remember a couple of my buddies in Jersey came out, and I was doing like I wasn't drinking. I wasn't like freaking doing. I was doing a freaking cleanse. Yeah. I was doing like a whole thing.
They're like probably like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're like a cleanse, dude. We're going raging, you know.
From Jersey, especially, they just
And so like, if I kept that around, then it wouldn't be the same as like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
You know? Now some people are cool. You know, like I do have friends from Jersey that are very supportive, and it's totally fine,
Nice.
right? But like my point is, like if you're gonna make a health decision, you just want a team that you can support, like that would support you on your health decision.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask this earlier when you talked about the energy side of things and the empathy that I had mentioned. Is there do you assume kind of that I don't want to say like the therapist role, but I know it's a joke like hair salons or people that do hair, you're also a hairstylist, but you're also like a quote unquote therapist. You got people coming to you constantly with problems and ailments, and like how do you navigate that and let that go and kind of cleanse yourself when you're going home, because it's physical, right? And it's common, I don't want to say it's common knowledge, but people that are in like the massage therapy or like masseuse, right? They're massaging people and touching them, and it's a lot of just there is that energetic transfer, right? Do you experience that in your practice as well? And if so, like I said, how do you kind of navigate and just let go of any negativity?
Yeah, I mean, a chiropractor is probably a healthy mix of doctor, WrestleMania podcast host, comedian, therapist. Like, we're all of it.
Yeah,
we really are.
That's cool.
If somebody comes in pain and they leave out of pain, a lot of that negative emotions go away, right?
Okay.
Because it's a complete cycle,
Yeah.
right? The cycle starts, the person's not doing good, right? If I take that on and the person leaves not doing good, okay, maybe that's around, right?
Okay.
But if the person's not doing good, they come in and they leave doing better, well, then the cycle's complete. So it's not like I'm really taking on, I mean, that negative energy, like, it's not hanging anymore, right?
Okay.
Like, we're in pain, but now we're not in pain. So, like, I wouldn't, it's not like I'm pulling it in because the cycle's complete. It's resolved, right? For the people that it is and it's not working and this and that, I don't take it personal anymore. When I first started, maybe I did.
Okay.
But you find out that you gave them homework and they didn't do the homework, right? Or you told them no bread or sugar or dairy, and they left. And then I'm driving out of my office and I see them at the freaking Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So it's like instead of taking it too personal, this is the advice I'm giving you. You can do it or you can't do it. And if you're doing everything I'm telling you and it's not working, then let's get you to the person that it will work for
sure.
Right? So as opposed to taking on all the responsibility all the time on me, if I go into it where I'm here to help you and get you better, but if it's not going to get better, then we'll get you to a place that we take you to next.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of that unresolved away.
Yeah.
Like if you have a plan for somebody and it's very direct and they're going through that plan, that energy shift doesn't seem to latch on. It feels like the energy latches on when I take the full responsibility of everything, and then not have an answer for if things go right or if things don't go right.
Okay.
Right? Like if you came to me, I didn't know what was really wrong with you. I didn't really do any exams on you. I treat you. You're still in pain. And then I just have you see me for like 1,000 times and it's still not getting better and like whatever. And then I'm like really like serious about it. Then I'm going to take on that deal. But if you came in, I did exams. I see what it is. I know the protocol that should fix it. I give you the protocol. You get better. It doesn't happen. You don't get better. Then we have a plan B where we take you somewhere else to get that resolved. Then the energy doesn't stay on you, where it would stay on you if it wasn't resolved. You know what I mean?
See, yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of times a lot of times when somebody there's like a high energy charged upset or something, they're probably not telling you something.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
There's a mystery somewhere.
Yeah.
And like you find the mystery and it goes away.
Yeah.
But like as long as there's something there that's floating that they're not communicating, then it's gonna still be there, and then you might take that on. But that's kind of how I view it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you?
Did that help?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
that's exactly kind of what I was just curious.
Yeah.
Like I say, and it's not like I was assuming that always happens. I was just.
It can
curious.
though, and it can with other professions, and I've heard that with like massage therapy or like whatever, you know. But for me, over the years of dealing with so many people, coming up with specific protocols takes that weight away.
Yeah, Absolutely.
And that's a lot of trial and error. It's not like I just decided to do that. You
Yeah.
know, like I've definitely lived a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
What would your WrestleMania name be?
Oh, I don't know. Dr. Crack, maybe?
Dr. Crack? Oh,
that
that's
might be
pretty
kind of good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. The adjustment.
The adjustment. The adjuster. Oh, that's so cool.
Right.
That's so funny you said that part, WrestleMania part. Comedian podcast host, that's so funny.
Right, dude. I always had I never had the time or the means to do it, but I always thought it'd be fun to do like a YouTube show where it's like I interview somebody like this, but in the middle of the interview, adjustment. You know, in the middle of the adjustment, we take a look at it. But in real life, it is kind of like that. Where like you'll tell me about your life, and then I'll treat you, and then you tell me a little bit more, and I treat you.
Okay.
Then I'll insert a dad joke, or we'll do something wild, and then just keep going. You know.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, my office is fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, you're a cool dude. You're a fun guy. You're, I'm sure your teammates or your interns and stuff and your employees will probably appreciate that.
Yeah.
What are some horror stories that you've kind of experienced in your practice?
Yeah, I mean, I've been farted on.
Okay.
I've been pooped on.
Okay.
I've been peed on. You know, like
The
all the bodily functions has happened to me.
Okay.
Those are probably the worst ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
You move on. You gotta keep moving on. I'll never forget. There's
I think it's worse for the patient.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's terrible, but still.
There's a woman that pooped herself.
No names.
And she was in like so much freaking pain, and I really thought I could help her, but she was so embarrassed that she never came back.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, she was she was much older, but like part of me was like, you mainly pooped on the table. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And mainly you pooped your pants. Like that's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, that was my first guess. I figured something like that happened.
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
Yeah. That's awesome. No, Dr. Ben, this has been so much fun.
Oh, thanks.
Like, I knew you're a cool dude, and like I could tell just by the energy you put out there. Very fun and exciting. I'm excited to get more people into seeing you and learn about the chiropractic field and you especially. You said you're in Laguna
Hills.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. We'll wrap this up. That was pretty quick, but I mean, I just wanted to touch base and get to know you. So
this is good. This is fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I introduced, the guests, we talk about 3 topics: impact, influence, and inspiration. With those 3 words in mind, what is the impact and influence that you want to have on your surrounding community and maybe beyond? And if you can inspire somebody to do something or be something, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I want people to live and thrive and be at their best potential. All right, so getting them properly adjusted, eating well, working out, that's going to help society, right? Like, because if you're exercising, you're not indoors, you're not going to be in your head as much.
Yeah.
If you're eating well, you're going to be feeling better, and if you're out of pain, you're going to feel great. So if we could get you to eat well, work out, be adjusted, and live life, you're going to inspire the planet. And otherwise, you're going the other direction.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I would just say, take time for yourself and go out there and be the healthiest form of you.
I love that. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's amazing. That's perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's plug all of your information, your practice. Where can people? What's the best way to contact you, get a hold of you, and come visit you? Yeah.
So Horning Chiropractic and Acupuncture. We're in Laguna Hills. Website's www.drbenhorning.com. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, Threads, Snapchat.
Very cool.
All of them at Dr. Ben Horning. DrBenHorning.
Dr. Ben Horning.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, get adjusted. See this man get cracked by the adjuster.
Damn, man, you are a crack up.
I love it.